Neon City, the crown jewel of Galaxia, was a metropolis that never slept. Its towering skyscrapers bathed in the perpetual glow of neon lights, casting vibrant hues across the bustling streets below. Amid the cacophony of hovering vehicles and chattering crowds, the less noticed alleys whispered secrets of the forgotten. In one such shadowed back street, a tiny creature trembled under the shelter of a discarded hover carton. This was no ordinary animal native to Galaxia, but rather an alien being from a distant world. Its fur was a brilliant shade of cerulean, soft and luminescent under the neon lights. Large, expressive eyes, glowing with a gentle azure light, scanned the alien environment with palpable fear and curiosity. The creature's ears, small and peaked at the top of its head, twitched at every sound. This was Vero, a puppy-like being from the planet Arcadia, known for their empathetic abilities and telepathic communication. Abandoned or lost, it was unclear, but the harsh environment of Neon City's alley was no place for such a delicate being. Despite the alien bustling city, a sense of loneliness clung to Varro. His species was highly social, reliant on the emotional connections with their kin. Isolated and afraid, Varro's telepathic cries for help echoed silently among the indifferent concrete giants of the city. As fate would have it, this particular alley was part of a route regularly patrolled by a human exploration team. Captain Mira Ramirez, leading her crew on a nightly biodiversity survey, was the first to notice the faint, eerie glow emitting from under the hover carton. Her curiosity piqued. She signaled her team to halt. "Hold up," Mira whispered, her voice barely rising over the hum of the city. Her team, comprising Dr. Jonas Barnett, a biologist, Liam Cheng, a tech specialist, and several other crew members, gathered around as she approached the source of the glow. Kneeling down, Mira reached out slowly, her hand stopping just short of the carton. "It's okay, we're not going to hurt you." She spoke gently, an innate kindness in her tone. The creature inside the carton stirred, its eyes widening as it sensed the sincerity in Mira's voice. With a cautious gentleness, Mira lifted the edge of the carton, revealing the small alien being. Vero, sensing no harm from these strangers, crawled forward into the light, his eyes locking with Mira's. A wave of relief and hope washed over him, his instincts telling him he might have finally found sanctuary. "Dr. Barnett, do we have any idea what this is?" Mira asked, her gaze never leaving Vero. Jonas, flipping through the digital datapad of local and exotic species, shook his head. "Nothing like this is recorded in any of our databases. It's like he doesn't belong to any known species from Galaxia or its surrounding planets." Liam knelt beside Mira, extending a gadget to scan the creature. "Let's get him back to the base. He's clearly not from around here, and he needs help." The decision was unanimous. Mira carefully scooped Varro into her arms, his small body trembling as he nestled into the warmth of her hold. As they made their way back to their temporary research base, Varro looked up at his rescuers with wide, grateful eyes, his telepathic voice whispering thanks into their minds. A message felt rather than heard. This unexpected encounter marked the beginning of a profound journey, not just for Varro, but for the entire human crew who, unbeknownst to them, had just embarked on a mission that would extend far beyond their initial scientific endeavors. Back at the temporary research base, an air of excitement and curiosity buzzed among the crew. The base, a blend of sleek technology and functional design, was usually reserved for cataloging and studying native species of Galaxia. Tonight, however, it had become the sanctuary for a creature far from home. Dr. Jonas Barnett, with his keen interest in xenobiology, prepared a safe examination area for Varro. As the alien puppy was gently placed on a soft, cushioned surface, the crew gathered around, their eyes wide with fascination. "Let's start with a basic health check. We need to ensure he's not in any immediate danger," Jonas instructed, his tools ready to perform non-invasive scans. The scanner hummed softly as it moved over Varro's tiny body, mapping out an anatomical structure that was surprisingly complex for his size. Liam Chung, meanwhile, tinkered with a portable translator device. Although primarily designed for deciphering known languages, It was adaptable enough to attempt a real-time translation of Varro's unique telepathic emissions. If he's trying to communicate with us telepathically, this should pick it up. It might take a while to fully sync with his frequency, though, Liam explained, his fingers moving swiftly over the device. Captain Mira Ramirez watched over the process with a protective gaze. She had felt an instant connection with Varro, his vulnerability resonating with her own experiences of being in strange new worlds. "Do you think he understands us?" she asked, her voice low and thoughtful. "It's possible," Jonas replied, reviewing the scan results on a screen. "His neural activity spikes every time we speak. He's definitely aware and trying to interact on some level." As the hours passed, Varro began to feel more at ease, the initial fear fading as he sensed the crew's intentions were kind. His body language softened, and his eyes followed the crew members curiously, a silent bond forming between them. Finally, Liam's device beeped, indicating a breakthrough. "I think we've got something," he announced, as a soft, clear voice emanated from the translator. "Thank you," it said, the words simple but filled with emotion. The room fell silent, each member processing the significance of this moment. Varro, understanding the shift, tilted his head and looked towards the device, then back at the humans surrounding him. "I am Varro," the translator continued, Varro's thoughts becoming words. "I am lost. No harm. I feel safe." Mira knelt beside him, her voice gentle. "You are safe here, Varro. We'll help you find your way back home. Can you tell us where you come from?" Varro's eyes shimmered, a mix of relief and sadness passing through them. "Home is gone." The voice from the translator carried a weight of sorrow. "Arcadia. It is gone." The mention of Arcadia drew a collective breath from the crew. Arcadia, a neighboring planet, had suffered a catastrophic meteor strike a year ago. It was believed that nothing could have survived the devastation. "We thought Arcadia was uninhabitable now," Jonas murmured, his brow furrowed. "How did you survive, Varro?" Varro's response was a series of images transmitted through the translator, showing hidden underground sanctuaries filled with life. "We hide," he conveyed. "Not many left. I was exploring, got lost." Understanding the gravity of the revelation, the crew committed themselves to a new mission, not only to protect Varro, but to investigate these sanctuaries he spoke of. Perhaps with their help, Varro's species might still have a chance at survival. As the night turned into early morning, the base buzzed with a new sense of purpose. The crew, deeply moved by Varro's story, prepared for the complex task of aiding a potentially endangered species. They set up a dedicated area for Varro with comforts to make him feel more at home, an assortment of soft fabrics for bedding, and an adapted environment that simulated the light and warmth of Arcadia. Captain Mira Ramirez convened a meeting with her team to strategize their next steps. "We have a unique responsibility here," she began, her expression serious yet compassionate. "Varro isn't just an alien species. He represents a civilization that we thought was lost. We need to approach this with sensitivity and care." Dr. Jonas Barnett, equipped with the data from his initial scans, highlighted the urgency of their mission. "Varro is healthy for now, but he's shown signs of stress and anxiety. It's not just about his physical well-being. We need to consider his mental health, too. The loss of his home and separation from his kind is clearly affecting him." Liam Cheng updated the crew on the improvements to the translation device, which now allowed for more nuanced communication with Varro. "I've adjusted the settings to better interpret his telepathic signals. We should be able to understand his needs more clearly," Liam explained, showing a 3D model of Varro's neural pathways on a screen. With the communication barrier easing, Varro began to share more about his life on Arcadia. Through images and emotions transmitted via the translator, the crew learned of the vibrant ecosystems and the close-knit communities of his species. Varro's memories were a mosaic of lush landscapes, underground sanctuaries, and harmonious living, now all threatened by the catastrophe that had struck his planet. Mira decided to take immediate action. "We need to confirm the existence of these sanctuaries. If Varro's kind is still out there, they might be facing the same threats he did. We'll prepare for an expedition to Arcadia." Preparations began at a feverish pace. The crew retrofitted their shuttle, the Starlight Wanderer, for the hazardous conditions of Arcadia. They stocked up on supplies, equipped the shuttle with advanced life support systems, and installed new scientific instruments designed to assess and perhaps aid in the revival of the Arcadian biomes. Throughout this flurry of activity, Varro remained a focal point, his well-being constantly monitored. Despite the comfort the crew tried to provide, it was evident that Varro was growing more introspective and melancholic. He often sat staring at the star charts displayed on the screens, his gaze lingering on the depiction of Arcadia. Sensing his loneliness, Mira spent evenings sitting beside him, talking about Earth and its diverse life. Gradually, Varro began to respond with tentative curiosity, asking questions about Earth's animals, its oceans, and its forests. This exchange not only strengthened their bond, but also provided Varro a distraction from his worries. As the departure day approached, the team held one last briefing. "This isn't just a rescue mission," Mira addressed her crew, her voice steady and determined. "It's a chance to right a cosmic wrong. We have the skills and the means to make a difference. Let's not waste this opportunity." With a renewed sense of determination, the crew boarded the Starlight Wanderer, Varro alongside them. As they set course for Arcadia, the little alien puppy looked back at the receding image of Galaxia, his new friends by his side, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead on his homeworld. Together, they were not just a crew, but a family, bound by a shared mission to bring hope to a forgotten corner of the galaxy. As the Starlight Wanderer sped through the cosmos, the crew's anticipation grew. Their mission was clear: confirm the existence of the hidden sanctuaries on Arcadia and assess the possibility of aiding Varro's species. However, the journey was not without its risks. The galaxy was vast and often unpredictable. Unknown to the crew, their departure had not gone unnoticed. The Stellar Hunters, a notorious group known for their illegal trafficking of exotic species, had been monitoring communications from Neon City. Intrigued by rumors of an unidentified alien species, they saw Varro as a potential prize that could fetch a fortune in the galactic black market. The leader of the hunters, a cunning figure known as Krasar, had equipped his ship with sophisticated tracking equipment. "We know they've taken something valuable from Neon City," Krasar mused to his crew. "Our scans picked up unique biological signatures from their ship. It matches nothing we've encountered before." Aboard the Starlight Wanderer, the crew remained unaware of the impending danger. Their focus was solely on the mission and Varro's worsening melancholy as they neared his devastated home planet. As they entered Arcadia's orbit, the planet's surface appeared desolate, a stark contrast to Varro's vibrant memories. The impact of the meteor strike was evident, with vast craters and ruptured landscapes stretching as far as the eye could see. "It's worse than I expected," Dr. Jonas Barnett admitted, scanning the surface for signs of life. Captain Mira Ramirez kept morale high. "Let's not lose hope yet. According to Varro, the sanctuaries are underground. They might still be intact." Varro, connected to the ship's systems through Liam's enhanced translator, directed them towards a specific coordinate. "There," he projected emotionally, "beneath the surface, hidden from the sky." As the crew prepared to descend, their ship's sensors suddenly blared an alarm. A ship was rapidly approaching from behind. Liam rushed to the console, his fingers flying over the controls. "It's a match for a known hunter vessel, heavily armed and closing in fast." Mira's face set into a determined frown. "Looks like we've got unwanted company. Prepare for evasive maneuvers. Jonas, keep working on getting us a safe landing spot. Liam, see if you can jam their sensors." The crew sprang into action, the Wanderer lurching through evasive arcs and dives as Krasar's ship unleashed a volley of disruptor fire. "They're trying to disable us, not destroy," Liam noted, his voice calm despite the chaos. "They want what we have on board." Varro, feeling the surge of fear and resolve from the crew, added his own power to the mix. His species were not just empathic, but could influence electrical fields. Concentrating deeply, he extended his senses towards the enemy ship, creating subtle disturbances in their tracking systems. With a combination of Varro's unique abilities and the crew's skilled piloting, they managed to momentarily confuse the hunters, gaining just enough time to make a rapid descent towards Arcadia's surface. "Hold on, everyone!" Mira commanded, as the Wanderer pierced the atmosphere, heading straight for the coordinates provided by Varro. The ship shook violently under the strain, but the crew's spirits were bolstered by their teamwork and Varro's unexpected aid. As they broke through the cloud layer, a hidden world slowly revealed itself, a hint of greenery visible through the devastation, suggesting life persisted beneath the surface. As they touched down, safely hidden by the natural camouflage of Arcadia's rugged terrain, Mira looked around at her crew, pride and relief evident on her face. "Good work, team. Let's find those sanctuaries and make sure they remain a secret, safe from those who would exploit them." With renewed vigor and a shared commitment to protect Varro's home, the crew prepared to step into the unknown, ready to confront whatever challenges awaited them in the hidden sanctuaries of Arcadia. With the Starlight Wanderer securely hidden in the overgrown foliage near the entrance to what they hoped was one of Arcadia's underground sanctuaries, Captain Mira Ramirez and her crew disembarked, ready for exploration. The landscape around them was marked by the scars of the meteor impact, but small signs of life stubbornly pushed through the cracks, hinting at the resilience of nature. As Dr. Jonas Barnett led the way with his bioscanner, detecting paths of less resistance through the rubble, Liam Cheng monitored the vicinity for any sign of the stellar hunters. Varro, though anxious in his devastated homeland, guided them towards a concealed entrance, his memories painting a vivid picture of lush sanctuaries beneath their feet. The entrance was cleverly hidden by natural debris and would have been missed by untrained eyes. As they cleared the way, the air shifted, warmer, and carrying a faint hum of life that energized the crew. "This is it," Varro conveyed telepathically, his emotions mixed with nostalgia and sorrow. But their mission to explore the sanctuary was interrupted by the sudden crackle of Liam's communicator. "We've got movement at the perimeter of our landing site. Looks like our friends didn't fall for the decoy route I set up," he reported, his voice tense. Mira's eyes narrowed. "Prepare for a quick retreat back to the ship if necessary. Let's keep this quick and gather as much data as we can." The crew hastened their efforts, descending into the underground sanctuary. The inside was a revelation, a self-sustaining ecosystem illuminated by bioluminescent flora, with air surprisingly fresh and filled with the sounds of unseen fauna. Jonas collected samples and data feverishly, marveling at the resilience of life forms that had adapted to underground existence. Meanwhile, Mira and Liam configured portable sensors to create a detailed map of the sanctuary's layout. Varro, for the first time since his rescue, showed signs of joy and hope, his mood uplifting the crew. Their exploration, however, was cut short. Liam's voice cracked through the communicator, urgent and sharp. "They're on us, closer than I like! We need to move, now!" Without hesitation, Mira ordered the retreat. "Grab what you can, and let's head back." The crew complied, each member packing up their equipment with practiced speed. As they surfaced, the distant sound of hover engines grew louder, an ominous sign that the hunters had pinpointed their location. The crew sprinted towards the Starlight Wanderer, Varro in Mira's arms, as they dodged blasts from the hunters' weaponry. Liam, while running, managed to remotely awaken the Wanderer's defense systems. "I'm setting up a smoke screen and some light flares to cover our exit. Hang on!" Reaching the ship amid chaos, the crew launched into the sky with Krazar's ship in hot pursuit. The Wanderer's evasive maneuvers were put to the test as Mira piloted through Arcadia's jagged terrain, using every rock and crater to their advantage. Varro, tapping into his species' ability to influence electrical fields, worked alongside Liam to disrupt the hunter's targeting systems. "Now, Varro!" Liam shouted, as they coordinated a pulse of electromagnetic interference. The interference hit the hunter's ship at a critical moment, causing it to veer off course and miss a crucial shot that would have damaged the Wanderer's engines. With a skilled flick of controls, Mira navigated the Wanderer into a narrow canyon, effectively losing their pursuers in the twisting maze of rock. Breathing heavily but safely out of immediate danger, the crew cheered their narrow escape. Mira placed a comforting hand on Varro's head. "You did great, buddy," she praised, her voice filled with relief and pride. Having narrowly escaped the clutches of the stellar hunters, Captain Mira Ramirez and her crew used the brief respite to assess their situation. The Starlight Wanderer, now orbiting high above Arcadia, carried not only crucial samples from the underground sanctuary, but also a renewed determination among the crew to protect Varro and his remaining kin. Mira convened a strategy meeting in the ship's main conference room. "We can't keep running forever," she asserted, her voice firm. "We need a plan that puts us ahead of the hunters permanently." Liam Cheng, still monitoring the sensors for any sign of pursuit, suggested, "The hunters are persistent because they see Varro as a valuable asset. Maybe we can use that to our advantage. Set a trap." Dr. Jonas Barnett, looking up from his analysis of the sanctuary samples, nodded in agreement. "We have the tech to create a believable decoy signal that mimics Varro's unique biological signature. We could lure them into a controlled situation where we hold the upper hand." The crew quickly warmed to the idea, brainstorming potential locations for their trap. They settled on the Galdor docks, a sprawling spaceport on the other side of Arcadia known for its heavy traffic and complex layout, providing plenty of opportunities for concealment and surprise. As they approached the docks, Varro, understanding his role in the plan, communicated his readiness to help. "I can also try to confuse them, make them see things that aren't there," he suggested, his telepathic abilities having grown stronger with his recent exposure to his home environment. With the plan set, Mira piloted the Wanderer discreetly into a lower docking bay, while Liam and Jonas set up the decoy emitter. The device began broadcasting a strong signal mimicking Varro's biosignature, designed to draw the hunters directly into their trap. Meanwhile, the crew utilized the dock's cluttered and chaotic environment to their advantage, setting up holographic projectors and sensor jammers. "Let's make sure they can't tell what's real and what's a projection," Liam said as he activated the devices. As anticipated, Krazar's ship soon appeared, its sensors locked onto the false signal. The hunters disembarked, weapons at the ready, moving towards the source of the signal with cautious aggression. From their hidden positions, Mira and her crew waited for the right moment. As the hunters converged on the decoy, Varro unleashed his telepathic abilities, casting illusions that distorted their perception. Shadows flickered at the edge of vision, and indistinct voices murmured just out of reach, sowing confusion and fear. Seizing the moment of maximum disarray among the hunters, Mira gave the signal. The crew sprung from their cover, employing stun devices and non-lethal weapons to subdue the disoriented hunters. Krazar, realizing too late that he had been outmaneuvered, was captured alongside his team. With the hunters secured, Mira contacted the Galactic Authority to take custody of the poachers. "These criminals were not only a threat to us, but to the ecological and cultural integrity of entire planets," she explained in her report. As the Galactic Authority arrived to detain Krazar and his crew, Mira turned to her own team, pride evident in her expression. "You all performed exceptionally today. We've not only protected Varro but also ensured that this kind of exploitation faces justice." Varro, feeling a mix of relief and triumph, communicated his gratitude to the crew. "Thank you, friends. Today you've protected more than just me. You've protected a future for my kind." With the immediate threat neutralized, the crew of the Starlight Wanderer prepared to continue their mission. Their next steps involved further exploration of Arcadia's sanctuaries and initiating a broader conservation effort to ensure the planet's recovery and the safety of its hidden inhabitants. With the stellar hunters now in custody and the immediate threat to their mission neutralized, the crew of the Starlight Wanderer turned their focus back to the secrets of Arcadia. Varro, relieved that his new family was safe, was eager to show more about his home and the underground sanctuaries that might still harbor his kind. Captain Mira Ramirez gathered her team for a briefing in the ship's research lab, where Dr. Jonas Barnett had set up stations to analyze the biological samples they had collected. "Our next step is to understand how these sanctuaries work and how we can help Varro's species thrive again," Mira declared, her voice filled with resolve. Jonas presented his preliminary findings, which included fascinating adaptations in the plant and animal life within the sanctuaries. The bioluminescent flora seem to play a crucial role in the ecosystem here, he explained, pointing to the vibrant images on the screen. They not only provide light, but also essential nutrients to other life forms. It's a symbiotic network, incredibly efficient and resilient. Liam Chung chimed in with technological insights. I think we can replicate some of these systems. If we can enhance the sanctuary's natural capabilities with a bit of human ingenuity, we might speed up the recovery process without disrupting the existing balance. With a plan taking shape, Mira organized a series of expeditions into various parts of the underground network. Each team was equipped with advanced mapping tools, environmental sensors, and bioengineering kits. Varro, acting as a guide and interpreter for his world's natural wonders, led one of the teams himself. As they delved deeper into the network of caves and bioluminescent forests, the crew discovered more than just surviving ecosystems. They found small pockets of Varro's species, each group isolated from the others and struggling to maintain their population. The reunions were emotional, with Varro telepathically sharing his journey and the hope that the humans brought. His story spread quickly among his people, instilling a renewed vigor to reconnect and rebuild. "We thought we were the last," one elder conveyed through the translator, her voice a mixture of joy and sorrow. "To know there are others, and that there are friends from beyond the stars. It gives us hope." With each expedition, the crew collected data, helped clear debris, and installed bio-enhanced support systems designed by Liam to boost the natural growth processes of the sanctuary ecosystems. They treated sick and injured animals, vaccinated them against diseases, and introduced carefully selected plants to increase biodiversity. Back aboard the Starlight Wanderer, the crew held a video conference with Earth's leading xenobiologists and conservationists, sharing their findings and discussing long-term strategies for the planet's ecological restoration. "We have a unique opportunity here," Mira addressed the conference, "not only to observe and learn, but to actively participate in the recovery of a world. We've seen firsthand what thoughtful, science-driven intervention can achieve." The global scientific community responded enthusiastically. Proposals were drafted for a permanent conservation outpost on Arcadia, and funding began to flow in from various research foundations and interplanetary conservation groups eager to support the project. As the mission progressed, the bond between humans and Varro's species strengthened. Their collaborative efforts laid the groundwork for a sustainable recovery plan that would ensure the survival of the Arcadian sanctuaries and the creatures that called them home. The success of the initial expeditions and the growing collaboration with Earth's scientific community marked a turning point for Arcadia. With renewed commitment, Captain Mira Ramirez and her crew began detailed preparations for more extensive restoration efforts. The Starlight Wanderer was transformed from a mere exploration vessel into a mobile command center for ecological recovery. Dr. Jonas Barnett spearheaded the scientific initiatives, organizing the data and biological samples into a comprehensive restoration plan. "We need to increase genetic diversity among the remaining populations of Varro's species," he explained during a team meeting. "And we also have to ensure that the ecosystems are robust enough to sustain them long-term." Liam Cheng, the crew's tech specialist, focused on upgrading the ship's systems for longer deployment and more sophisticated environmental interventions. He designed modular habitats that could be installed in various parts of the sanctuaries, providing safe havens for flora and fauna as they adapted to restored conditions. "These aren't just shelters," Liam described. "They're fully equipped ecological units that mimic the natural conditions of Arcadia's underground network." Mira coordinated with Earth-based agencies and the Galactic Authority to secure the necessary permissions and support. The mission had attracted attention across human and alien communities alike, becoming a beacon of interspecies cooperation and environmental stewardship. As preparations continued, Varro became an integral part of the team, his unique insights into the natural world of Arcadia proving invaluable. He worked closely with Jonas, identifying plant and animal species that were critical to the ecosystem's balance. His ability to communicate with his species telepathically helped in gently persuading his people to participate in the recovery efforts. The crew also undertook rigorous training for the complex tasks ahead. They simulated various scenarios, from emergency medical interventions to rapid habitat assembly. "Every second will count once we're on the ground," Mira emphasized during a drill. "We need to be ready for any challenges we might face." Throughout the training and preparations, the team maintained a close watch on the political dynamics of the galaxy. The Stellar Hunters' attempt to capture Varro had exposed a broader issue of wildlife trafficking and planetary exploitation. Mira liaised with galactic law enforcement to ensure that Arcadia would be protected under new conservation laws, preventing further illegal activity. As the final checks were completed, the Starlight Wanderer was stocked with not just supplies, but also hope and determination. The crew, once mere explorers, were now guardians of a new future for Arcadia. Before departing for the surface, Mira gathered her team for a final briefing. "What we're starting here could well be a model for other restoration projects across the galaxy," she said, looking around at her diverse crew, united by a common purpose. "We've got a chance to make a real difference, to show that humanity can not only explore the stars, but also help heal them." As the Starlight Wanderer touched down on the rugged terrain of Arcadia, a sense of solemnity and anticipation filled the air. The crew, equipped with the latest tools and technology, disembarked with precision, ready to implement the comprehensive restoration plan they had spent weeks preparing. Varro, standing alongside Captain Mira Ramirez at the forefront, felt a profound connection to the land that had nurtured him. The base camp was set up near one of the larger sanctuary entrances, a strategic location that provided easy access to multiple underground ecosystems. Dr. Jonas Barnett and his team of biologists began deploying the modular habitats, carefully placing them in predetermined locations to maximize their effectiveness without disrupting the existing flora and fauna. Liam Cheng, overseeing the technical installations, activated the habitat systems. These units not only replicated ideal environmental conditions, but also included advanced monitoring equipment, allowing the team to track the recovery process in real time. These habitats will give us invaluable data on how the ecosystems respond to our interventions, Liam explained as he calibrated a sensor. Mira coordinated the operations, her leadership seamless and encouraging. She ensured that every team member had a clear role and that the efforts were synchronized. "Remember, our goal is to assist in recovery, not to dictate it. Let's make sure we respect the natural processes as much as possible," she reminded her crew. Varro, for his part, played a vital role in communicating with the local wildlife. His telepathic abilities helped soothe the displaced creatures, easing their transition into the newly created habitats. "It's okay. We're here to help," Varro projected, his gentle reassurance calming a group of skittish nocturnal mammals as they explored their new surroundings. The first few days were intense, with the crew working tirelessly to install the habitats and conduct initial assessments. The preliminary results were promising. The bioluminescent plants thrived under the controlled conditions, and the animal populations began to show signs of recovery. As the habitats became operational, the crew expanded their efforts to the wider ecosystems. They cleared debris from water sources, replanted native vegetation, and removed invasive species that had proliferated in the wake of the meteor strike. Each action was carefully logged and analyzed, ensuring that the restoration remained on track and adaptive to the needs of the environment. One afternoon, as Mira and Varro surveyed a newly cleared area, they noticed a group of Varro's species cautiously emerging from a hidden thicket. The reunion was emotional, with Varro telepathically sharing stories of survival and hope. Mira watched, deeply moved by the resilience and dignity of these creatures. "Seeing this makes all our efforts worthwhile," she whispered, a sentiment Varro echoed in his mind. Weeks turned into months, and the sanctuary gradually transformed. The once bleak and damaged landscapes began to buzz with life, the sounds of creatures and the rustle of growing plants filling the air. The success of the project attracted attention from other planets, with delegations visiting Arcadia to learn from the crew's methods and approach. The Galactic Authority, recognizing the significance of the restoration, designated Arcadia as a protected ecological reserve, providing further resources and protection. This official status helped ensure that the planet would continue to recover and that its sanctuaries would remain safe from exploitation. As Arcadia began to flourish, the crew of the Starlight Wanderer prepared to return to Earth. Their mission was a testament to the power of empathy and the positive impact of human intervention in the cosmos. Varro, now a celebrated figure among his people and a symbol of interspecies cooperation, decided to stay on Arcadia, dedicating himself to continuing the work the crew had begun. On the eve of their departure, Mira and her crew gathered to celebrate their achievements. "We came here as explorers and leave as partners in renewal," Mira reflected, her eyes sweeping over the thriving landscape. "This isn't the end, but a new beginning." With Arcadia's future looking brighter, the Starlight Wanderer lifted off, leaving behind a legacy of conservation and friendship that would inspire future generations across the galaxy. As the Starlight Wanderer sailed away from Arcadia, the crew carried with them not just the memories of a successful mission, but also the data that would inspire and inform future ecological endeavors across the galaxy. Captain Mira Ramirez reflected on the journey, proud of her team's accomplishments and the pivotal role they had played in revitalizing a dying world. Back on Earth, the story of Arcadia's rebirth and the collaboration between humans and Varro's species captured the imagination of the public and the scientific community alike. The mission was heralded as a landmark achievement in interspecies cooperation and environmental restoration. The crew was invited to speak at the United Galactic Conference, a prestigious gathering of leaders, scientists, and diplomats from various planets. As they prepared their presentation, Dr. Jonas Barnett meticulously organized the data, ensuring every statistic and outcome highlighted the effectiveness of their methods. Liam Chung, meanwhile, developed simulations and models to demonstrate the technologies they had used on Arcadia. He included interactive displays that allowed attendees to visualize the transformation of the sanctuaries and the sophisticated systems that supported them. When the day of the conference arrived, the venue was packed. The audience was eager to hear firsthand about the mission that had turned a devastated planet into a beacon of hope. Mira took the stage, her presence commanding and assured. "Ladies and gentlemen, what we achieved on Arcadia was not a miracle. It was the result of hard work, scientific rigor, and an unwavering commitment to our values," Mira began, her voice resonant. "We showed that with the right approach, even worlds that seem lost can be brought back from the brink." She detailed the challenges they faced, from the initial discovery of Varro and his plight, to the dangerous encounters with the stellar hunters. She spoke of the technology and strategies used to rehabilitate the planet's ecosystems, and the critical role of Varro's telepathic abilities in facilitating communication and trust between humans and his species. As Mira spoke, images and videos from the mission played behind her, showing the barren landscapes transforming into vibrant habitats, the meetings with Varro's kind, and the team's tireless efforts. The presentation concluded with a standing ovation. The impact of their work was undeniable, and the conference buzzed with discussions on how these techniques could be adapted for other environmental challenges across the galaxy. In the days that followed, Mira and her team met with representatives from various planets, each expressing interest in applying the Arcadian model to their own conservation projects. The Galactic Authority announced a new fund dedicated to supporting such missions, named in honor of Varro and the Starlight Wanderer crew. The crew's return to Earth was celebrated with honors and accolades, yet for each of them, the true reward was the knowledge that they had made a tangible difference. They had not only saved a species and restored a world, but it also paved the way for future missions that would extend the legacy of their work. As they eventually returned to their normal lives, with plans to continue their explorations and conservation efforts, they remained connected to Arcadia. Varro, now leading his people in their new beginning, stayed in regular contact, his messages always filled with updates and gratitude. Months after the Starlight Wanderer's departure from Arcadia, the planet had continued to thrive under the stewardship of Varro and the local species. The habitats installed by the crew had become fully integrated into the environment, supporting not only the biological needs of the species, but also providing data to Earth scientists, who monitored the progress remotely. On Earth, Captain Mira Ramirez found herself often in meetings with top environmental agencies and space exploration organizations, planning future missions inspired by their success on Arcadia. The Arcadian model had become a template for planetary rehabilitation projects throughout the known universe. Meanwhile, back on Arcadia, Varro had grown into more than just a leader. He had become a symbol of hope and resilience. His ability to communicate telepathically had strengthened, and he used this to unite the different sanctuary populations, weaving a tight-knit community bound by shared purpose and a vision for the future. Under Varro's guidance, the Arcadians had expanded their habitats, using the technology left by the humans to create new living spaces and restore more of their planet's surface. The sanctuaries had begun to connect, forming a network that allowed for easier movement and genetic diversity among Varro's species. Back on Earth, Dr. Jonas Barnett continued to analyze the data flowing in from Arcadia. The results were beyond encouraging. The ecosystems are not just stabilizing, they're flourishing, he reported during one of the many webinars held to disseminate findings. We're seeing a rapid increase in biodiversity, and the genetic interventions have taken root, leading to robust populations. Liam Chung, meanwhile, worked on refining the habitat technology. He developed an AI-driven system that could adapt in real time to environmental changes, ensuring the habitats could respond to unforeseen events without human intervention. This technology was about to be deployed in other worlds facing ecological crises. The success on Arcadia had inspired a new generation of conservationists and scientists. Universities and research centers had introduced courses focused on planetary restoration, and many of Mira's crew members took up positions as guest lecturers and advisors, eager to share their knowledge and experiences. One day, a special transmission came through to Mira from Varro. He had initiated a planet-wide event on Arcadia, a celebration of life and rebirth. The message showed scenes of Arcadians, from the young to the old, planting new gardens enriched with flora from across their world, each garden a testament to their planet's resilience and their determination to thrive. Mira watched the transmission, her heart swelling with pride. "This is the legacy of our mission," she shared with her team, who had gathered to watch. Not just the survival of a species, but the flourishing of an entire world. As news of Arcadia's revival spread, it brought new hope to other civilizations facing ecological degradation. Arcadia was no longer just a planet. It had become a symbol of what could be achieved when different beings worked together for a common good. The legacy of the Starlight Wanderers mission continued to unfold. Its echoes felt not just in the scientific community but across the galaxy, in every world that looked to the stars and dared to dream of renewal. Varro, Mira, and their teams had shown that even the most devastated places could be reborn, with care, science, and an unwavering belief in the possible.